I'm so excited to be here with Jennifer, and we have known each other for a couple of years now. And Jennifer, do you mind sharing where you came from and how you ended up in the Cincinnati area?
Okay. Well, I come from the land of California, Southern California. I was born and raised there, and we moved about just over 3 years ago now. So I met you through Instagram, actually, because
Mhm.
that's my go-to research tool.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, just looking for Northern Kentucky realtors because we knew. So my husband is a pastor, and a church out here was calling him out. And so we knew we needed to be in the area of the church, and we didn't know anything about Kentucky, much less Northern Kentucky. We didn't know there's different parts.
Hmm.
And so you came up and looking up a hashtag actually when those were all the rage.
Yep.
And it looked good. You had pictures of your family and not just of what you sold, I suppose. Like it was more your family and not your business. And I was like, she's the one. She's the
Yeah.
one. I handed my phone off to my husband and said, please contact her. Or can I contact her? I forget which way it
Yeah.
went. So yeah, we've been out here for about just over 3 years and we love it. And it's been great. Other than trying to adapt to weather, everything's been
Yeah.
great.
Southern California is very different.
Yeah, especially
And,
we're from the desert, so
mhm.
super dry,
And
very
this last
windy.
winter was very cold. I think they
Yes.
said it was the worst winter we've had in like 30 years.
Every winter since we've been here has been worse.
It gets worse and
Gets
worse.
worse and worse and worse. Really cold. I've never experienced cold like this in my life.
Yeah. But you guys have really, I think you've been thriving and you've been able to plug into everything. And part of it obviously was your husband's role as a pastor
Yes.
at at the church in Independence. And
Yes.
but something that I think is super interesting and unique is that a lot of people, when they relocate or when they have a change of circumstances, they go inward and they want people to reach out to them.
Mhm.
They want to, it's almost, and I hate to say this, but almost be a little bit of a victim of like, I want people to reach out to me. But it's the same thing when Brandon and I relocated to Cincinnati.
Mhm.
He at one point said, like, remember, we bloom where we're planted. And we really took that to heart. And I think you
Yeah.
guys have too. So for you over the last couple of years, what's one thing that you've been able to do that has helped you plug in and be a community builder?
I think it was I'm very much an introvert, but you don't make friends being an introvert. And with I have kids and we homeschool, and socialization is not the number one thing you need to do when you homeschool, but it is necessary, and you have to go out and make those connections
Mhm.
because not a lot of people will come to you. And if you are homeschooled and everyone works around you, you're in an empty street for the
Exactly.
day.
Yeah. And I think so many
Yeah.
people can relate to that in different ways that we feel isolated, right?
Yes. So through the church, obviously being part of a church makes it a little bit easier. And being the pastor's wife, you do have people that will voluntarily come up to you. And I had planned on being a little bit of a hermit the first year just to I'd never been to Kentucky ever,
Yeah.
just get used to it and learn the streets and how to drive on them. Winding roads, much, much different from California.
Mhm.
Um, but I just realized like, no, like I need to get out for my kids' sake. And so we joined a co-op right away, and a few of the ladies from our church and then from different local churches. And we just got plugged in with them really quickly. And it's been great. I know they
Mhm.
have made lifelong friendships, and even I have. And then really, I make community through who my kids' friends are. And I
Mhm.
just hope I like their parents.
Yeah.
So far, that's worked out great.
Mhm.
And then we invite people over from the church or new people that are coming out. I mean, the church just gives lots of avenues to meet different people and participate in different We do a few different community activities or events throughout the year.
Mhm.
Not necessarily like outreach programs, but just like, oh, the community's doing this. Let's be part of it and help where we can, serve where we can.
Yeah.
So that has helped as well.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing all of those ideas. So, you have also, since you've moved here, right, gotten into writing. Do you mind
Yes.
sharing about your books and what you're doing there?
Well, I've been writing since my dad brought home this is going to date me, our Apple IIc computer. I was about 6, and I've been writing since then.
Mhm.
But 2020, at the end of 2020 is when I was like, let's like really see what I can do with this. I majored in English with an emphasis in creative writing, so it's always been there. But when we moved here, I believe it was the following year, is when I signed with my literary agent. So I got to do that in Kentucky.
Mhm.
I got to sign my first publishing contract in Kentucky. So Kentucky's been great.
Yeah. You've blossomed. A lot's happened
Yes,
here.
yeah,
Mhm.
things have been moving since we moved here.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I've just been writing. I have my debut book will be a board book that comes out in April of 2026. So soon, soon.
Yeah.
In the meantime, because it's a lot of waiting. I found the NKY Tribune, which is an online newspaper,
Mhm.
and I got in contact with the editor there, and she's allowed me to write articles. And so I just write articles, and they've become very community based.
Mhm.
Um, I found that Northern Kentucky is very, like, everyone's got their separate counties. Counties are very important out here,
Yeah.
which is new as well. Not necessarily what city you're from, but what county you live in. And but also those counties like really come together for some big events along with the cities with their individual events. But it's a really much more of a big deal community here
Mhm.
than it was in California,
Yeah.
which is probably a commentary on how we are in California. Very
Mhm.
individualistic.
Yeah.
Um,
I noticed that
so
when we moved here too, it's a high school based thing. So like
yes, where
Brandon
did
and
you go
I,
to high school?
yes, Brandon and I
Yes.
worked corporate jobs downtown Cincinnati, and everybody would say, what high school did you go to?" I'm like,
Yes.
"High school?
Yeah.
You're not going to know what high school because I grew up in Idaho and he grew up in California,
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's very high school based, county
Yes. And
based.
there's strong opinions about what high school you went to.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yep.
even when I say like was in California at the time, they're, oh, well, we still want to know. It's like but you
You're
won't
never
know.
gonna know. Right.
But yeah, that is a big thing out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing, Brandon being from California, and I don't know if you've gotten this too, people assume that Californians are a certain way. Most of the time, they assume they're very politically
Yes.
charged and like a very specific type of personality, right?
Hmm.
But it's kind of funny because with Brandon, they're like, "Oh, he's from California." And I'm like, no, no, he loves like dirt biking and hunting and all the outdoorsy things.
Hmm.
He's not like a city slicker. It-
Yeah. And we came, the city we came from is bigger than the city we live in now. But
Mhm,
when we were first married, we lived in Anaheim, and the church that my husband was a pastor at was literally like 5 minutes from Disneyland. So that was like
mhm,
city, a concrete jungle. Um, and they were Anaheim was much more, it's Orange County, not the richest part of Orange County, but still you get that connotation of Orange County. And yeah, much more politically charged in every direction. And then we moved to the desert, the high desert. It's what it's called because the low desert is more like Palm Springs, and the high desert is on your way to Las Vegas. So not much out there. It could be its own little state.
yeah.
They would be okay if they weren't part of California officially.
Mhm.
Different mindset, much more conservative, hard workers, and yeah, it was a good group of people, and definitely God preparing me to go to independence. So
Mhm.
the culture changed. There's not been much culture shock. It's been
Yeah.
great, but we have people here, California, or we have California numbers. So our phone, if
Mhm.
we call, like it says California, and nobody wants to answer the phone.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're not what you see on reality shows. We're not all from Beverly Hills. Our house
Yeah.
didn't sell for $1 million. Like
Mhm.
we're from a different area.
Yeah. So I love that you guys and us, we've been able to plug into the Cincinnati suburbs and Northern
Hmm.
Kentucky and just really plant our roots.
Yes.
So with your Northern Kentucky Tribune, now you're doing these articles,
Hmm.
and you asked if I'd be willing to talk about some of the real estate stuff that we do and some of the events we've been doing. So I'd
Yes.
love to let you have at it and ask whatever questions you'd like.
Well, I just love, like, you stood out to me as a realtor, and we haven't dealt with too many realtors in our adult life, but it was much more than just showing you some houses. Do you want this house? No. Do you? Yes. And like, I'll, you know, go into battle for you or something like that.
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that we just spent time with each other, and it's like, yeah, we want you to come over. And you guys came over for
Mhm.
dinner, and to see like your little baby girl who's now 3 years old is amazing.
Yeah.
And it was just, and having like the events that you did afterwards, like not thinking like, well, why would we be invited? Like, we're not technically your client anymore. Like, we bought the house, we're good. But
Yeah.
you keep reaching out, and that is meaningful. That means something. So I was like, she's
Mhm.
just different. People need to know.
Yeah.
Like there's different realtors out there.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Thank you. But that's the whole, like, yeah, you're a client forever.
And that's what
I
it
think
feels
that,
like.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of real estate agents are just very, we say transactional based. It's
Hmm.
like, hey, sell the house and then you never hear from them again. And there's high statistics about people that never hear from their agent again.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect at it, but I do try to like help keep people
Hmm.
plugged in and keep in touch. And like when you guys converted your water to city water, I'm like,
Yes.
bubble bath.
Yes. Yes.
Because you
You
said the
came and
kids were so
dropped
excited.
off bubble bath for us, and it was great. The kids were so happy about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's really, really important to both Brandon and I. And so I'd love to answer any questions that you have about that. And obviously, you attended puppy yoga recently.
Yes. Yes. We did that. And then the thing that you had at like that farm was a couple,
The
was,
Benton family
yes,
farm.
that
Yeah.
was really cool. And then just like the different giveaways that you've done throughout
Hmm.
the last couple of years.
Yep.
But yeah, it seems the norm that it's just as a transaction. So that's why you have stood out, because it doesn't feel like the norm. I think it should be.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, why? So you got into, yeah, how did you come about being a realtor, I suppose? How did you
Yeah.
first step into this
How the heck
world?
does that happen?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as I had mentioned previously, both Brandon and I grew up more on the West Coast. So, I grew up in Idaho. He grew up in California. We got married while we were in college and we moved out to Cincinnati because he got a job out of college and he was working downtown at Nielsen, a marketing research company.
Hmm.
And when we moved out here, we didn't have any kids yet or anything. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to get a job. And so we literally just drove to Newport on the levee, facing
Yes.
the river
Hmm.
across to Cincinnati. And I was taking notes on corporate headquarters that I could see downtown. And just because I was like, we had one car and I wanted to work close to him and stuff. So I started applying to just all the random jobs
Okay.
and ended up working in Macy's headquarters in their accounting department and did that for about 2 years. And then when Ethan was born, it was kind of like we didn't have any family out here at all. And so I'm like, I'm going to pay someone to raise my child or I got to figure something out. So I quit my corporate job and we started flipping houses. That's a whole nother story. But Brandon quit his corporate job after we put our first flip on the market because we thought we're building someone else's ladder and we really do believe in trying to build something for our own our own family and our own legacy.
Hmm.
So we were flipping, and then I was like, I should get my license. So I got licensed, and then since then, Brandon got licensed. But what I quickly realized was that a lot of people that grew up here, they went to high school, they went to college, they go to church with the same people for the last 20, 30, 50 years.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it was that
Hmm.
same thing of if I'm going to plug into this community, I have to take the initiative and be proactive.
Hmm.
And so, two things that I did initially to meet people was number one, be posting on social media, just like you found me on Instagram from California moving here.
Yes.
So, I'm trying to provide value or just showing what it looks like to live here and helping people be like, okay, I have someone that I can trust and that I can kind of plug into. And then the other thing was I would host open houses at other agents' listings. So it's agents that are too busy or they just don't like hosting
Okay.
open houses
Uh-huh.
because I didn't have any business yet. So I
Okay.
started that way. And so it was literally people walking in, meeting strangers, then
Hmm.
making friends with them, and then, transitioning that into a working relationship or I helped them actually end up buying or selling. So from the very beginning, it was like, I have to do something different than just be some random real estate agent standing in an open house.
Hmm.
And so if I could provide value by saying, hey, there's some other similar listings, you don't have to buy this one specifically, but I can help you look at all of your options. Or, hey, there's some new construction communities that are similar. It was constantly trying to provide ways to add value.
Hmm.
And so that is kind of how the quick version of how I got into real estate. And Brandon and I are both full time in real estate now. And we really love it and find a lot of purpose in it.
I love it. I love that you were serving other realtors because they're too busy, or that's
Yeah.
not the part of a job that they love. And you're
Yeah.
like, I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Definitely.
That's great. And that's a great way to, I mean, not just like networking, but building community with your fellow real estate people.
Yeah. Because a lot of agents, they don't want to be in open houses on a Saturday if their kid
Hmm.
has a soccer game
That's
or,
true.
other family
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So,
You guys are very busy. I always felt bad when we were like randomly text you or something. I was like, what if she's with her kids or doing something else?
no, that's a part of
You
the
are
life
always
is,
available.
yeah.
So she's always available. Okay. So how do you help new residents and feel connected to the community that they might be looking at, or because so I know for us, we didn't necessarily get to pick like, oh, this looks like a great city to live in. We wanted to be near the church. So our church
Mhm.
is in Independence. We're going to live in Independence. So it wasn't
Yep.
so much like we had the, I don't want to say luxury, but we didn't need the option of looking at all these different neighborhoods. So
Mhm.
how for a family that can do that, they can kind of move wherever.
Mhm.
How do you put forth that like this would be a great neighborhood for you and your family, or you and your spouse, wherever they are in their life at that moment?
Yeah. So I think the first most important thing is to sit down and have a conversation. Sometimes it's on Zoom or FaceTime if it's remote, and then otherwise, going to a local restaurant or meeting in an office somewhere. And just having I joke that it's an interrogation session, but essentially it's just me trying to get to know you guys
Mm-hmm.
and asking good questions and then listening.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a few basic questions that I can ask to get to know people. When I say number one, like, what's most important to you guys in the area that you live in, or what are your priorities? And sometimes if they say we have to be within 15 minutes of downtown Cincinnati
Okay.
because husband works downtown, I say, okay, that very quickly narrows down what areas we can look at.
Yeah.
And sometimes they say we don't want to be anywhere near downtown, we want to be at least 20 minutes out of downtown and close to more of a suburban area.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, so that helps rule some things out. And then if they're really focused on schools, as real estate professional, I'm not supposed to say anything specific, but I give resources. I can't be the
Okay.
source, but I
Mm-hmm.
can give resources to go look at greatschools.org or other online
Oh,
sites,
okay.
and or I can connect people. So sometimes there's been like a family here or there that I know another family that lives in the exact area they want to be. So I can say, hey, past client, do you mind if I share your phone number so that this mom can ask some questions about the schools?
Oh,
And then
nice.
the two moms can connect
Yeah.
and they can talk openly about all the opinions
Yeah.
and things with the schools. And so it really is just trying to like take mental notes and keep track of like where all of my people are,
Mm.
and also treating like all of my friends as part of my community.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a client or past client thing. So like whenever we host these events, we always say friends and clients,
Yeah.
because the people that have lived here for a long time can add a lot of value and take people under their wings and help them
Mm-hmm.
plug into the schools or to the church or to the sports activities.
Yeah.
There's a lot of families that like they would love to participate in flag football for their elementary school age kid, but they don't know anybody.
Yeah.
And so I can say, hey, you should join these guys because they have a great soccer group or whatever. So it really is asking good questions and finding out what's important to them, and then trying to find ways to plug them in, help them meet people or tell them about types of activities. I had one client that the wife is a big cyclist and the husband's a big runner,
Mm.
and they put their miles on for sure. But he was like, hey, are there any good running clubs? And so I could send him a couple links to like Instagram pages that they're constantly posting where they're meeting up at. And
Oh, okay.
so things like that just help them plug in.
So that's good. That and in building that relationship, like you said, that relationship lasts. It
Yeah.
goes beyond just transactional, and then you don't have to do all that work. You're like, oh, I know someone who does exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to keep those people in your back pocket.
Yeah. And those are the roots that help people love where they are. Cause I can't keep track of everybody all the time.
Right.
Right. But if I can help create those communities within my community, then they can have good, long, lifelong relationships. And
Yeah, and it'll
very
just like
fruitful.
spread out from there. Your friends and family, like those people that you're somehow have been like placed together. Like all of a sudden, these people are now in your life. Like, oh, because I'm going to go through this, and you've already done it, or you need help with this, and I've done that, and it all connects. I love it when that happens.
Yeah, me
Which
too.
it really happens all the time. Okay, how are there some local causes or projects that you've been passionate about or supporting since you've been in this area or in the world of being a realtor?
Yeah. So we've been really active in our church from the very beginning, and we've been involved in the scouting program and like the youth programs. We've done a lot of trying to kind of like what I had said to just building that local community. So our son Ethan is he's 7 right now, and there's like a lot of parents that want their kids to be involved in things, but they don't necessarily want to be the ones in charge of it.
Yes.
Or, and, like, for example, coaching flag football, it's kind of intimidating. You just, as a parent, you kind of sit on the sidelines and, kind of take videos and pictures of your kids. But there was a need for coaching, and like the program I9 Sports was begging, like repeat
Okay.
texts and phone calls and like finding someone to be the coach. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I played flag football intramural, like women's intramurals in college, just for, it was a fun thing. It was not like professional, but I loved that. And then Brandon's great with the kids, and I think he's really good with young people. And so I was like, can we do it? Can we coach? Like, I know we've never done it, but we can figure it out. And it's 7-year-olds,
Yeah.
6 to 8-year-old range. So I'm like, we
Can't
can
really
figure this
mess
out.
it up too
I know.
horribly.
I know. And they have like a playbook for warm-ups and stuff that you can
Okay.
do. So Brandon and I agreed to coach that earlier this year. And that was eye-opening because, you got to make sure people have playing time. You got to make sure that everybody's having fun. You're trying to help them be better and, keep everybody happy and the
Yes.
parents happy and
Yeah.
stuff. So that first game, we were like, oh gosh, what did we sign up for? But since then, we've come to love it. And so
Okay.
this fall, Brandon coached with one of our friends who actually relocated. They had just bought a dental practice, and they're actually part of the same church and everything. So again, that's where like community is taking one dad here and another dad and partnering them up to coach their sons that are the same age. And anyway, so things like that I think are really important, because that was an example of where we saw a need and literally they were begging for help, and we're able to do that. And we've been able to make more friends with people that have their kids in those sports. And,
Yes.
it's just like those roots just keep growing deeper and deeper. And by being willing to say yes and learn how to do
Yes.
something, it's a blessing for us and hopefully for those parents too, because their kids have a place to play and the kids have fun.
Yeah. And then, right, you're providing a service to everybody and then getting to experience something kind of new, coaching, it's new. And
Yes.
that's exciting. Yes. It's good to be able to say yes, even as I have a friend that always says, like, say yes when you're scared, because you
Yeah.
have no idea the opportunities or the people that you'll meet from it.
Yeah. And that's 100% true. What I've found is if I just say yes and I'm willing to do a good job, like do my best and just put myself out there, there have been so many good things that come from just saying like, okay, I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. That's true.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out along the way. Yes. So community builder, you've kind of like touched it on all the ways that you've done it and been part of a community, but what does it mean to you to be sort of in that area? Like, you are a community builder. I mean, both kind of literally, like I will show you where to live.
Yeah.
But you, with the connections and keeping those connections with people that you've helped relocate and all of that, like what does being a community builder mean to you?
Yeah. So part of it for me is a spiritual thing. And I know some people aren't religious, and that's totally fine. But I think everybody wants to have friends and to feel like they have a place in the world. And so like I bought this sweater recently that says "Make Heaven Crowded." And I love the message behind it for me, because it's trying to make sure that everybody feels like they have a place.
A place at the table.
Yes, literally a seat at the table, that whatever it is that they're interested in, whether it's like the sports realm or like you said, a homeschool community and with kids and stuff, just trying to make sure that everybody feels loved and seen and part of a group of people and part of that community. So it's kind of like trying to find all of the individual ones out there and, bringing them into the fold and helping them have a place.
Yes. Yes. You're going out for the one,
Yep.
which is good. That's amazing. That touches my heart. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the last bit, what advice would you give to a realtor that maybe is just starting out and would love to be, I think with social media and stuff like that, there of course are the bad points of it, but maybe, and I don't even know if this is true, but perhaps the original concept was to be able to bring people together, because it brought us together.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So a realtor that's maybe starting out, and so they're young, so they've grown up on social media and stuff like that, to get them more like this community mindset versus, yes, we all need to pay the bills, but just to make it more, not just your career, but more of a ministry.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a ministry. It's having deeper purpose. And I think, it's super focused on having an impact. I really want to have an impact. And you had mentioned like younger realtors getting into it. And something I'll point out too that a lot of people don't know is a lot of agents actually start their career after their first one. So like
Okay.
there's a lot of teachers that had taught for 20 years. And
Mhm.
then, when they're 50 or in their 40s, like people change careers all the time.
Mhm.
So it really is, I think it's applicable across the board that you have got to think about how do I come from a place of contribution,
Mm.
and how do I help like spark creativity or inspire people to do something new and different. And I think part of that is making sure you're doing that thing yourself. You've constantly got to be putting yourself out there and trying new things and just being willing to grow constantly. And so, like for me, I recently started doing those high rocks races.
Mhm.
And that was definitely, I saw these videos and I'm like, that looks so intimidating. But it
Let's try
looks,
it.
yeah, I'm like, yeah. So I sent it to my friend Ashley and
Mhm.
I knew she had done an Ironman before. So I was like, okay, who's someone that would be crazy that might do something like this? And she said yes. And so we like showed up at this brand new gym. We found out they had all the High Rocks equipment, Trax Fitness Lab in Erlanger. And I reached out to the guy that is actually a friend that we have known for years.
Mhm.
And I was like, can we just come and can you help us figure out what to do? And from there, it was literally like, I don't even know how to touch this ski erg machine. And like, what's the technique? How do I do it? I'd been on a rowing machine one time before.
Okay.
And so, like, very minimal background on how to do the technique of this stuff, but it was putting myself out there and then sharing that journey. What
Mhm.
I have seen so much on social media is people connect with the journey of getting where you're going
Yes.
more than they connect with the like, woohoo, you did an event,
Mhm. The behind the scenes type stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's that same thing of like people want to be seen or people want to be included and involved. And so, like, to the realtors that are trying to build their business or the ones that have been in it a long time, but they don't have repeat people coming back or referring to them,
Mhm.
it's you've got to figure out how to it's almost be entertaining, be entertaining, but provide value and find ways for people to like be interested and inspired.
Mhm. That's good advice. So what do you hope your legacy will be if you ever retire from all the things, which I don't foresee that
Uh,
happening ever with you and your husband. But what would you want your legacy to be? I guess what would you want your kids to remember and about your career and just what you've done and what you've provided?
yeah. I think that the question about what I would want my kids to remember is slightly different because they're very up close and personal in the behind the scenes of the business, right?
Hmm.
Than like in the general community. So I might answer in two parts.
Okay.
So general community out there, I hope that people just remember like they knew everybody and they loved and they helped people feel included and they were fun, just that we were great connectors. I really hope that that's the legacy. And then with our kids, I hope that they will know and remember how hard it was to build up to all of that. I think people see once you're speaking at events or once you're planning the parties where you have a bunch of different people show up,
Hmm.
people see you there, but they didn't see you when you were very brand new and starting it.
Right.
And so like little Ethan, he was there. He was really the reason why I quit my corporate job. He was the reason why I had the guts to try because Brandon was working so much in his corporate job. And it was like the next promotion was more slavery.
Mm.
And so it's like we've got to build our own legacy. And so I hope our kids will always be inspired to be able to just work hard, whatever it is they choose that they want to do, that they'll have the opportunities to pursue any of it and that they'll have the heart and the grit to go after it and make it happen.
To work hard. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And I like that you made decisions based off not necessarily what's going to make you the most money or get you the biggest house or the biggest cars, but what is best for you, for your family.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people, they kind of just do what they were told. Right. And a lot of
Hmm.
times that's a very specific path that
Yes.
um, sometimes, and it was interesting because recently I was asked to speak at this event for a bunch of young people that are considering college.
Okay.
And the event was it was almost against college
Oh,
because they
yes.
asked everybody on the panel, how many of you went to college and how many of you are using that degree?
Yes.
And everybody laughed because as they went down the row, it's like, some professions do need a professional degree. Like if
Yes.
you're going to be a
Hmm.
doctor or a dentist or some kind of a specialist,
Hmm.
absolutely. But yeah, I think another thing I hope that we can inspire people, whether they're adults or the uprising generation, is to find something that you're passionate about, that you can put your heart into, that will make you money and provide for your family,
Hmm.
because that is very important. But it's not just a one conventional route that's correct.
Right. There's so many. And with, I follow Micro and the whole, like, his sweat pledge and how we're like, people are like, the trades are so necessary and there's just
Yeah.
not enough. There's enough jobs, but not enough who can do those jobs because
Yeah.
everyone went
Yeah.
college and some type of a career. And now we don't know how to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I used to be like pro college. Like, college was the answer for everything. And now with my own kids, I'm like, well, you can go if you're going to learn, but if this is not for you, don't do it.
Yeah.
And you can always go later. You can go later in life. I went
always
later
go
in
back.
life. Anyone can go back.
Yeah. So that's with our kids. I hope that they'll just know that like the sky is the limit and really just choose what you want to do and then go after it and make it happen.
Yep. Okay, so I guess for my last is like, what's next for you guys? Whether it's in doing houses, realty, this podcast, like what is next for you? An Ironman? What mud are we running through next?
Yeah. So on the fitness side of things, we really want to help Brandon build up to another half Ironman. He did one about a year ago, and then he was training for another one this fall, and he injured his shoulder while he was swimming. He was almost at mile 2 swimming with a friend, and he just felt this pop. So we got to help him get that healed.
Okay.
And then Brandon and I have been talking about doing the mixed doubles high rocks, which is like a man and a woman can do it as partners. So I did the women's doubles with my friend Ashley. But so once he's healed, would love to do a high rocks together. And that will be very fun. I'm excited for that. And then professionally, we have, built this big real estate business and we do love that. And we feel like, you asking questions about like other realtors, like what advice would we give to them? And there's just such an awesome opportunity with the way brokerage realm is changing. There are cloud-based models that I think are so much better for the agents that are in production. And, about 75% of agents this year have not sold a single house. And so for those ones, it's very different than the conversation of the ones that are actually in production. And so about a year ago, we joined Real Brokerage. And so we've been building that out. And we have agent partners from all around the country. And so we want to support the agents that are willing to see the growth opportunities and see the benefits of those types of models instead of just a very small local network, because that's what has helped us grow so much is we have agent friends and connections all around the country. So we want to help build that more locally in our market here in Cincinnati and then also continue to build that on a national level. And then Brandon is going to be building out this mobile agent podcast. And this is the first official episode, which we're so excited because Brandon, we joke that he's super useful because he got an award in his corporate world for that. It was literally just something that said, you're useful. And he's like, am I supposed to take this as a compliment? I guess. But
it's that whole willing to say yes, and I'll serve, and I will do the best at it too.
Yeah. So he's been diving into all the video editing and video capture stuff, but he's going to be building out this mobile agent podcast so that we can continue to help build the local community and provide value to people that live here and to people that are looking to move here and just provide value in all the different ways that people have so many questions and we can build connections like this. And my hope is that, if someone listens to this recording and they're like, oh my gosh, I can resonate because I'm trying to homeschool my kids and I need a good local church, that they'd be like, hey, Jennifer Yon is awesome. I'm going to reach out to her, and continue to just build those roots throughout. So, building a podcast, trying to build the local and national agent community, and then continue selling houses and helping people.
And doing all the crazy physical climbing, swimming stuff.
Yeah. And so, someone asked me recently, like, why are you doing all of this? Or how do you have time for it? Right. And it's never, ever convenient. I don't think there's been a day where I'm like, wake up and I'm like, I want to go work hard and sweat and suffer in the gym. It's a discipline thing. And I started doing it because I was having like mental fog and just not feeling good after I had Adeline. I had a lot of like that postpartum recovery stuff that was really difficult, health issues. And so doing all of these things have helped me, and it's helped Brandon have something that it's like an outlet of energy and trying to do something good. And it's also something that's 100% in our control.
Mm.
when it comes to real estate transactions, people have agency and sometimes people do dumb things.
Yes.
And, you have all types of personalities, but the fitness stuff is something like I can go control my workout for the next 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's an outlet and a good thing for us overall, just to build our overall wellness and health.
Yeah, overall, it's a great thing to do. And it is. It's a habit that you've built into, and motivation might work at first, but then it's going to fade away. And then what are you
Yeah.
going to do? You're either going to get up and go,
Yeah.
or you're going to say, I'm not motivated. The spirit isn't moving me, and not go. And then you build that habit of, I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, habits. I've learned through homeschool and many others that habits is really how we live our life.
Yeah.
And we can't always wait for the perfect day to come up, because it's just not. Things are going to get in the way. Kids are going to get sick, or the car's not going to work, or something like that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to that whole point kind of at the beginning of like everybody wants to be invited, but we need to be the one inviting and finding the community where we're invited to do things. And part of that comes with those daily decisions of like, I'm going to take the initiative to go do this workout, or I'm going to take the initiative to go to church, even though I don't feel like it and I'm tired this week or whatever.
Yes.
So, well, I'm so glad that we could do this little interview together, and I'm glad that you asked about the newspaper article. And if anybody has any questions or thoughts and wants to ask Jennifer, she's awesome. So,
Well, thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. It's been so fun.